Hey everybody, Phil here. And today we are going to cover some features of WordPress that you might not know about that are actually quite helpful. So first, I want to talk about backups on your site. Now, if you have an IO site that's hosted with us, we of course have backups on our side, but it can be really useful for when you're working with your site to keep local backups of your site on your site. So therefore, you can always do an easy rollback if you've made a change that maybe has broken something on the site or something that would just be too difficult to roll back manually. So for those of you of older sites, a lot of you will actually already have the plugin I'm getting ready to show you installed and set up. For those of you of newer sites, we no longer usually include this anymore. So you have to get it yourself. So let's go ahead and install it. And the plugin, and there's a lot of plugins out here, but the one I have the most experience with and the one I would recommend is to simply type updraft into the search when you go to add new in the plugins here. And it is called Updraft Plus WordPress Backup Plugin. And there's all kinds of add-ons and premium stuff that you can do with this. You really don't need any of that unless you have more serious backup needs. And again, let me reiterate that we run backups on our side that you can always have access to if need be. This is really more for just when you are messing around with the site, have anything going on like that. So we go ahead, we get it installed, we activate it. Once it's activated, you don't need to go worry about going through that process. And once it's installed, you'll be able to find it later on by going to Settings and then Updraft Plus. But typically, once you get it installed and you're in here, it's a good idea to go to the Settings tab first and go ahead and do a basic setup. And I recommend going ahead and turning daily backups on for both your files and your database, and keeping anywhere from 3 to 5 copies. It depends on the site size, how much resources it might take up. 3 is a good, kind of a good rolling schedule to have. Something else that you can do is you can also hook it to send it to compatible third-party servers, such as file storage services. But before you do those, you do want to save. There's more stuff here. You're almost never going to change that except in extreme situations. So for the most part, like I said, you just need to change your schedule here, hit save. If you want to hook up one of these types of services, so just do a quick example using Google Drive, you just click on it. And then you have to come down here and click Save Changes again. Once it's done that, you now have to do your authorization step. So you follow that link that it's giving you. Sign in. Give it permissions. And then you'll let you know that it's completing the setup. Hit complete setup here. And now you are hooked up. And now it brings you back to the backup and restore screen. Running a backup is as simple as can be. If you want to run a manual, you just simply click the Backup Now button. And that's really all there is to it. A restore is quite easy as well. You'll come down here, you'll have a list. You simply click the restore button and then follow the directions. If you run into any troubles, as always, feel free to reach out to me and I'm always willing to help. And now that we've gone through that, I just want to give you one more quick thing that you can learn today. And that's how to clean up your site after you've done maybe some significant changes. Maybe you've spent some time working on some home pages, adding some pages. Now, when you have been doing that until you've done a good amount of work on your site, something that's going to happen is that every time you click that save button, that a revision is getting saved, meaning that if you're on one page, it could have dozens upon dozens upon dozens of revisions or times that you've actually saved a new version of it. And what that can do is that can clog up your site size quite a bit, quite quickly. So every once in a great while, especially maybe after a large amount of work, and once you're absolutely sure that it is done, something that we'd include on nearly all of our sites. So if you go to installed plugins and scroll down through the list, you will find one that's deactivated typically called WP Optimize. Or if you don't have it, go ahead and use that add new and search for it and grab it. But either way, once you have it, activate it. You will then find a new menu item. Simply click into Database. And the beauty of this one is it already has pretty much everything auto set for you the way you'd like it, and just simply run all selected optimizations. And this will pretty much clean out all of that trash that's built up and will give you a huge optimization on the site in terms of site size, which can be a huge determining factor in terms of site speed. So there, right there are two less known features of a WordPress site that can be quite useful. Throughout the week, we'll continue to explore more and more features, and we'll get into more stuff. So keep on watching. Thanks everybody for your time, and you guys have a great week.